alive. The aunt was 4 months pregnant and was shot in the stomach. Her and her unborn baby would recover. The passenger and boy's uncle, Lazarus Collins, is a documented gang member and was the intended target of this attack. This was retaliation that stemmed from a gang murder of one suspect's brother that was in the car that was doing the shooting. Over the next couple of weeks, 3 rival gang members, Devon Swan, Jeremy Ellis, and Donnell Harris, were arrested and charged with multiple counts of first-degree murder and attempted murder in the shooting death of 2 and the wounding of 1. A 4th person of interest is still being sought in connection to these murders. The shooter and gang member Devon Swan had a lengthy criminal history and was well known by the Chicago police. He was arrested 9 times for armed robbery, illegal gun charges, and narcotics possession. Swan was paroled from the Illinois Sheridan Correctional Center in LaSalle less than a year ago. This is the Facebook stream of the shooting, as Chicago area expressways have been exceptionally violent over the past 2 years. There are different circumstances that surround these shootings. These are just a few. In November of 2017, driver Dashin Campbell was driving on the Dan Ryan with 2 women and a young child when an altercation with another car started. The other car tried to force Campbell's car off the road, and moments later the driver of the other car started firing shots at Campbell's car. Multiple bullets went through the car door, striking him a couple of times. He then lost control and then crashed into a bridge embankment. He was pronounced dead a short time later at Stroger Hospital, and one of the 2 women was taken away in critical condition, and the other woman and child were taken away in serious condition. All 3 survived. In April of 2017, semi-driver 43-year-old Eduardo Munoz was traveling eastbound on I-88 when a car also traveling eastbound fired shots at Munoz's truck over a road rage incident. The trucker was struck and was able to pull over onto the shoulder. He was taken to the hospital where he later died. The shooting happened in Oak Brook near York Road. Days later, the shooter, 34-year-old Anthony Tillman, turned himself in to the Illinois State Police and was charged with first-degree murder and held on $3 million bond. In May of 2016, a silver Chevy Tahoe was found stalled in the westbound lane of the Kennedy Expressway. Both people inside appeared to have suffered fatal gunshot wounds to the head. They were both pronounced dead on the scene. Illinois State Police took days to release the circumstances of this shooting, but in time claimed the shooting was a murder-suicide, and that happened to occur along the expressway. Police said a black semi-automatic gun was found on the driver's side floorboard of the Tahoe. In September of 2016, 2 people were shot and killed in 2 separate incidents hours apart on the Eisenhower Expressway. In the first incident, 23-year-old documented gang member Devon Ullman was a passenger in a car that was fired upon by another car. He was hit and the driver took him to West Suburban Hospital, where he was later pronounced dead. 8 months later, rival gang members Irel Dickens and Tyrone Johnson were arrested and charged with 1 count of first-degree murder each. Hours later, a second shooting occurred. 2 people were shot on the outbound Eisenhower near Laramie. 2 men in another vehicle fired a barrage of shots at a car, striking a man and his girlfriend. The man, 22-year-old Jonathan Ortiz, was an up-and-coming rapper. He was pronounced dead at Stroger Hospital, and his girlfriend was listed in critical condition. Ortiz had recently performed at the House of Blues and the Portage Theater. No one has been arrested for this shooting. In December of 2017, a gang funeral procession out of the west side jumped onto the Eisenhower Expressway and headed west towards Oak Ridge Cemetery and Hillside. After the service, the group drove recklessly through the village, then got onto the Eisenhower Expressway. By the time the procession approached Hillside, callers reported that people were hanging out of the cars waving guns, and one person was firing a gun from the SUV near the Mannheim off-ramp. Police dashcam video captured the ramming of the SUV full of shooters. Then a brief foot chase followed, and 4 people were arrested. All 4 occupants of the car, the 2 men and 2 women, were all in their mid-20s. After the crash, cops found 3 handguns with high-capacity magazines and high-impact ammunition. Between all 4 of the suspects, they had been arrested more than 160 times. In 2015, there were 39 expressway shootings. And in 2016, there were 48. So far this year, there have been 36. And there's still 3 weeks left to go in the year. In 2016, I was on a shooting scene in North Lawndale, and a couple of gang members were standing about 50 yards away on a dark corner under what appeared to be a shot-out streetlight. And one of the men walked over, and I asked him, "Why is there so much killing in this neighborhood?" He slowly looked up at me and peered out from under a black hoodie he was wearing and said, "It's about the rush, man. The adrenaline rush that no high can give you. It's about the kill, yo."